Okay, so who here has done a strength type assessment before? If so, what did you take away from that experience? You could type in the chat, please. What's something that, if you did take something away from that experience, what was it? Okay, relationships and executing versus analytical. That's a great point, Crystal. Yeah, I think, and also I think I have discussion about this with other trainers and coaches. Just like, you might have not slept well and they said, hey, you got to get this assessment done by 9:45. And you're just like, oh yeah, that sounds good. Click, return. It just, I think it's also mindset, what else you have going on. So I don't think it's a perfect science. So I get it. Um, yeah, thinking of the big picture. So, so thanks for sharing that. So let's take a look at a snapshot of the various ways that you can identify personal strengths. We just talked about the assessments. We talked about self-reflection earlier, feedbacks from others. You can journal. I think journaling is a great way to reflect on some things. There's a technique called morning pages that's through a certain book. I think it's called The Listening Path. And pretty much what it is you do a kind of a data dump every morning, and you write stream of consciousness for 3 pages. Pretty
Mm.
much, what's coming up to you, things like that. And that's a great way to kind of have a data dump of that information, be able to sort through it and look back and say, okay, this is what I've been thinking about, maybe even unconsciously, and kind of look through that and, maybe even reflect on strengths, maybe journal with an intention. So in addition to that morning page, you could say, what are my strengths, or how can I leverage my strengths to show up more powerfully? So you can actually do morning pages with intention. So that's just one quick example there. Um, strength-based interviews. You can conduct interviews with people who know you well and ask them about your strengths. Observation of peak performances. I really like that one, where you reflect on moments when you felt like you were in flow. How many of you are familiar with the concept of flow? When you're doing something, it feels like time disappears because you're so into it, you're so passionate, you're so ingrained in it that you don't never want it to end because you just love the work you're doing. So a number of these are great ways to identify personal strengths. So here are some more examples of specific strengths and how they might assert themselves during a challenge. So how many of you can relate to these? Things like resilience in the face of adversity, um, creativity and problem solving, showing empathy and conflict resolution, maybe optimism in health challenges. How many of you resonate with some of those, and which one do you resonate with the most? Feel free to type in the chat. Yeah, calm storm, courage, mindfulness. I know a few number of people that have dealt with health challenges lately, and that's been a key factor here, being able to navigate that. And strengths can evolve and change over time, so it's beneficial to periodically revisit the process of identifying and cultivating them. I don't believe that the core strengths change dramatically necessarily, but I believe it's helpful to reassess your strengths periodically. Also, since each individual strengths exploration journey is unique, the process should be tailored to a person's preferences and needs. And I would add to be patient with the process and to view strengths exploration as an ongoing and rewarding experience, with one of the main rewards being a more fulfilling life.